What's up, everyone? It's Kovarks here, back on the Kovarks Sports channel, and today we are going to be giving you our 2021 predictions for the Georgia Bulldogs college football team. Last year, they went 8-2, 7-2 in SEC action, winning their bowl game against Cincinnati in a comeback win. Looking at their roster, they look really solid at the quarterback position. They have JT Daniels. At running back, Zamir White. The offensive line should be pretty good. And the wide receiver core, it looks really good too. They have Jermaine Burton, Arian Smith, Carius Jackson. I may have said that wrong. Excuse me if I did. The one big question mark is definitely George Pickens. He was a star last year. He's an incredible wide receiver. And so they definitely need him back if they're going to really take that next step. He tore his ACL in the spring. If you are Georgia, you are really hoping he comes back. Good news, Kirby Smart says he is making progress. Bad news is that we're not exactly clear when he's coming back. So I'm going to err on the side of he comes back at some point in the season. But, I mean, if you're really going to take that next step and have a stellar year, you may need him. You never know. So it's very important in that regard, but overall the roster looks really good. They should be able to reload pretty well in some positions. I mean, it's Georgia. They're great every year, at least for the past 5 years. I mean, they're in the college football playoff and went to the national championship in 2017, taking Alabama to overtime and losing. Before we get into the schedule, I do want to say, in the description, I will have a link to a brand new podcast I am starting soon with Brivical. It is called Noma Sports. We are recording the first episode, and it should be up maybe at the time this video comes out. I'm not sure because I am pre-recording these, but it should be coming out at some point in the near future. So make sure to go subscribe if you like college football, which, I mean, if you're watching this, I assume you do. And that way you'll get to hear a little bit more about our opinions. Alright, now let's go ahead and take a look at this schedule. And here it is. So the first thing that jumps out is that they have Clemson in Charlotte, Duke's Mayo Kickoff Classic to start the season. This is a huge game. It's going to be a top 5 matchup. Clemson is really good. They have DJ Uiagalelei. He's going to be a really good quarterback. He did lose to Notre Dame in his one big game last year, but I still think with a full spring practice and stuff, he's going to be really good. This one's going to be great. I cannot wait. Just here in a couple weeks. And so this one's a complete coin flip. I could see it going either way. Sometimes I've thought it's Clemson, sometimes I thought it's Georgia. I'm going to go with the coaching staff that I believe is going to just be a little bit better and is going to be able to slightly edge out the other one, and that's Dabo Swinney. I just trust him a little bit more. So I'm going to give this one to Clemson, but it is super close. Moving on now, on September 11th, they have UAB at home. Gonna be, I mean, UAB, I believe, won their conference last year, so you can't write this game off. They could even be in the top 25, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's a good game to kind of, after Clemson, get back on track, because it's like you have to actually play. It's not like you're playing some bad FCS team. You actually have to play well, and so I think that Georgia will probably end up winning this easily, but it's a good game to get back into your rhythm, so I'm going to take Georgia still. Against South Carolina, I know they beat them in 2019. I don't see that happening. Kind of like the UAB game. I think South Carolina is better than UAB, but still, I think Georgia, it's going to be an easier game, but it'll help get them back into the rhythm. Then Vanderbilt on the road. Yes, it's on the road, but it's also Vanderbilt. I don't need to say much else. So I think they win those 3 games, and they start 3-1 before taking on Arkansas. This next stretch is probably their 5 hardest games, and then Clemson. So, I mean, yeah, none of these games are as hard as Clemson, but Arkansas, at Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, Missouri. I could see them losing one of these 5 games. If they're going to lose a game outside of the Clemson one, I'm going to assume it's within these 5. Starting off with this Arkansas one, it is before Auburn, which is a rivalry game. It's at home. Kind of similar to that 2019 South Carolina game. They have no business losing it. So I'm going to still take Georgia, but if there is one huge upset on this schedule, I think it would be probably Arkansas, just because it is before that Auburn game. That being said, talking about that Auburn game, yes, it's on the road, but Georgia won by, I think, 21 last year, 27 to 6, excuse me. So I do see them winning this one again. Once again, it's on the road, but Auburn has a new head coach, and I just don't think that getting a new head coach is typically pretty hard on a team that's kind of in the middle of the pack. And so I think Georgia is able to win this one. And then they have Kentucky, which I also think they should be able to win. The Kentucky game and the Missouri game, those are kind of in the same boat for me, because those two teams are very similar in how good they are. And if they're on the road, maybe I'd consider taking one of them in a big upset. But they're both at home, so I'm going to take Georgia and Kentucky, and we'll talk about the Missouri one here in a second. They get a bye week before Florida, which is good. It's a rivalry game. It's going to be revenge. I think this is going to mean a lot to Georgia, and I do think they're able to get a lot of revenge here, get their emotions out, and they are able to take down the Gators, who lost a lot of production. They're going to want revenge. It's a rivalry game. They have a bye week before it. Florida lost a lot. Georgia should be a little bit better than they were last year. That all sides to Georgia, so I'm going to take them in this rivalry game. And in these final 4, Missouri, I just talked about the Kentucky game. This is the same thing. I think they'll probably win it because it's at home. Yes, it's a very difficult road crowd. Georgia is the much better team, and Tennessee, I think, is going to struggle a lot this year. So I will take Georgia on that one as well. Then Charleston Southern, FCS team, they should win. And then Georgia Tech, it's great to have these rivalries back, but I think it's going to be like how it was the past few years before they couldn't play in 2020. Georgia wins pretty easily. So at the end of the day, I have Georgia going 11-1 with their one loss at the beginning of the season to Clemson. This does mean, because I have them winning all of their SEC games, that I have them going to the SEC championship. This would be a really good season for Georgia. Back to the SEC championship. Maybe they can finally win it. I hope you all did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. We have a lot more college football predictions on the way as we get closer to the season. Once again, make sure to check out my podcast channel in the description. There's also a trailer on that channel. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Have Georgia going 11-1 in 2021 in college football. Once again, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye.